So this is my ship. It's like the smallest ship that I've made so far. Well, maybe not exactly technically the smallest, but it's the smallest one I've made that kind of looks streamlined. So I'm going to show you how this one is put together. You can use any one of these Armstrong cockpits that has this shape. I use the one that has the least cargo capacity just to save a little bit of money here. It's attached to a 1x1 companionway. Again, you can use one that you like the interior looks of. I just went with this one because I kind of figured it was a decent shape for the kind of lines up with the cockpit. But you don't really see that much of it anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Snap these landing gear to the 1x1 hab. We also need, this is a top docker, but if you flip it, it can become a bottom docker. Now here's maybe the tricky part. If you put these pieces here, again, this is just the back version of the same landing gear. I have a reactor on top of the landing bay. The problem is, if you don't glitch it, these don't fit here. Now there are other engines you can use. Any of these White Dwarf 20 series will fit nicely. Then your ship will just be a tiny bit chunkier. But I was trying to make the tiniest ship ever, and as you see, those don't snap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the landing gear out of the way so they do snap. You also could just omit the landing gear. It doesn't actually need them. They can sit on these in the front gear, but it doesn't quite look as cool without them. So I'm going to show you how to kind of glitch these landing gear into place. So what you're going to need to do is you need a 1x1 habs just temporarily to use as spacers. Snap these to the landing bay and then move the landing bay out of the way. You want to get the gear in there, so we have to move the reactor again. Can't do it once. But the trick here is you can select this gear and then press the flip button. And then when you set it down, it'll be kind of merged inside everything. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Select it, flip it, and there we've merged our engines and our landing gear. So now we can remove these temporary 1x1 companionways. They're really just to keep things on the grid for us. Put the landing bay back in place, and then snap the reactor into place. Now the reactor is needed to hold the engines. Otherwise you'll get a message saying your components aren't attached. I put the grab drive in front of the reactor, but depending on what pieces you use, you can kind of switch those around, whatever you think looks good for those two. And then I added these wings from Demois. These are handy because they have weapon mounts on them. And I have fairly small weapons attached right now, but you could fit larger ones if you desire. The real advantage of these wings is you can kind of attach these extra little accessories to them as well. So we have our shield generator, and we have a fairly large fuel tank here, not the biggest. You can actually put a slightly larger one if you want. There's another Atlas series tank. If you have the skill for it, which I do, this one will also be in that same location. 400 fuel. This is kind of a budget build, so even this one requires rank 2. I'm not sure that there's any other that will fit, unfortunately. And then I have a Demois spine, which is a good mounting point for a weapon. And another Demois spine, where you can mount your other 2 weapons. And that is it. That's the entire build right there. And that's the end of this very short tutorial on this very small ship. Thanks for watching.